Have you ever daydreamed about hitting it big with a stock that nobody's even heard of yet?
Finding those hidden gems that could turn into the next big thing.
Well, that's what we're doing here. Digging deep to see if these companies are diamonds in the rough or just fool's gold.
And today,
Today we're diving into Blackboxstocks Incorporated,
your symbol BLBX.
BLBX, to see if it has what it takes.
Yeah, by the end of this, you'll know if it's a stock to keep your eye on or one to avoid.
So if you enjoy these deep dives, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes.
All right, let's jump right in.
What initially caught my eye about Blackboxstocks was this really bold statement they make on their website. They claim to be a complete trading system like nothing else in the world.
That definitely makes you want to know more.
Right. So let's unpack that claim. What exactly does this complete trading system actually entail?
So Blackboxstocks offers this web-based platform,
Okay.
and it's powered by what they call predictive technology and artificial intelligence, or AI. And basically what it does is it helps traders by spotting unusual market activity, sort of like those blips that show up on a radar that could potentially mean big moves are happening.
Interesting. And we're not talking about a small amount of data here.
No, not at all. We're talking huge amounts of information. They're analyzing over 10,000 stocks.
Wow.
And up to 1.5 million options contracts every single second.
Every second.
Across multiple exchanges.
Yeah, that's a lot to process.
Yeah. To sort through all that data, they offer pre-market and post-market scanners.
Makes sense.
And they also have customizable options scanners.
Nice.
That way traders can, find opportunities outside of regular trading hours and also really tailor their search to whatever their particular strategies are.
I see. So it's customizable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Blackboxstocks, you see, it also has the social media element to it.
Oh, interesting.
So imagine a whole community of traders sharing all their insights, their strategies with each other.
A community, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And they've even added this new feature where you can do live audio and screen sharing.
So you can actually see what other people are doing.
Exactly. And that social aspect is really crucial, because it allows you to learn from the experiences of other traders.
Learn from others' mistakes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's this kind of collaborative approach that really sets Blackboxstocks apart.
Especially in a market.
Especially in a market that's projected to grow significantly.
How much are we talking?
Well, the projections are saying it's going to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 7.3%.
Wow.
From 2024 to 2030.
That is some serious growth.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is driving that kind of expansion in the online trading platform market?
Well, there are a couple of key factors at play here. First, you have technology constantly advancing, and these platforms are becoming, more and more powerful.
More user-friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the accessibility factor with mobile trading apps. I mean, anyone can trade right from their phone nowadays.
Yeah, it's so easy.
And lastly, there's this, this rise in retail investing, particularly among the younger generation, who are much more comfortable with using technology and want to be involved in the markets.
I see. So it seems Blackboxstocks is riding this wave of growth, but who are the folks at the helm steering the ship?
Oh, okay. So Blackboxstocks was co-founded by a team of 3. Gust Kepler, who is the CEO, Eric Ferris, the COO, and David Kyle.
And do they have what it takes?
Well, they bring a wealth of experience to the table. All 3 of them have really strong track records in the financial technology industry.
Oh, good.
And Gus Kepler especially has extensive experience in financial services.
Okay.
He's really been a driving force behind the company's growth.
So we know they have the experience, but experience alone doesn't always guarantee success.
Mm-hmm.
How are they handling the company's resources? What's their approach to capital allocation?
So their main focus has been investing in their core business. They've been putting a lot of effort into enhancing their platform and expanding their educational resources.
Investing in the future.
And they've even been pursuing some strategic acquisitions, although a planned merger with Evtech Aluminum Limited unfortunately fell through recently.
Interesting.
Another interesting thing they've done is they have a history of share buybacks.
Share buybacks. That's usually a positive signal for investors. But what about dividends? Are they sharing those profits directly with their shareholders?
Not right now, no.
Oh.
They haven't declared any dividends, and they don't seem to have any plans to in the near future.
That's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, especially if you're looking for some passive income from your investments.
All right, so let's talk about the numbers. Blackboxstocks financial health.
Okay.
I'd say the picture's a bit mixed, honestly.
Yeah.
Their revenue has been declining, but they also have a low debt-to-equity ratio.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, declining revenue is always a concern. It definitely makes you question the company's long-term sustainability and profitability. Investors really need to dig deeper and figure out what's causing that revenue shrinkage. Is it external factors? Is it increased competition? Or are there some internal issues?
Right. Could be any number of things.
Now, on the positive side,
Yeah.
that low debt-to-equity ratio, that's a good sign. It suggests that Blackboxstocks isn't overly reliant on borrowing,
Okay.
which gives them more flexibility and reduces their financial risk.
So some potential red flags there, but also some green lights.
Exactly. Blackboxstocks is a company that's operating in a really dynamic and growing market, but they are facing some headwinds as well.
Absolutely. And before we jump into the second half of our deep dive into black box stocks, don't forget that we've linked all the sources we're using in the description below.
Yeah, check that out.
And while you're there, let us know in the comments what other stocks you'd like us to analyze in future episodes. We always love getting suggestions from our listeners.
We do. So we've got a real puzzle on our hands with Blackboxstocks.
Yeah, it's a fascinating mix of positive and negative signals.
Lots of interesting pieces, but it's not quite clear yet how they all fit together.
Definitely. Well, let's start putting those pieces together, shall we? What's the market sentiment like around black box stocks? How are investors reacting to this sort of mixed bag?
Well, one thing that makes it a little tricky is there isn't a whole lot of analyst coverage on black box stocks.
Oh, interesting.
So it's harder to get a really clear overall picture of the sentiment.
But you have some data.
Yeah, the data we do have suggests a pretty cautious outlook.
Cautious, huh? And I know they've had some bumps in the road recently, right?
That's right. They've faced some challenges actually meeting NASDAQ listing requirements.
Oh, okay.
Specifically around holding those annual stockholder meetings and maintaining board independence.
Yeah, that's not nothing. Those kinds of issues can definitely spook investors.
Absolutely. But here's an interesting twist. Short interest in black box stocks is actually pretty low.
Oh, that's interesting. So not many people are betting against the stock then?
No.
Even with those challenges. Okay, well, let's tug on another thread here. Ownership structure. Who are the big players holding stakes in black box stocks?
Well, one thing that jumps out is that institutional ownership is relatively low.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, institutions currently hold only about 137,000 shares. So it seems like black box stocks might not be on their radar just yet.
Not even on their radar. Huh, interesting. So if the big institutions aren't really in on this, then who is?
Well, insider ownership is actually quite high.
Oh, okay.
And that's generally seen as a good thing. It means management has skin in the game, so to speak. Their interests are aligned with those of the other shareholders.
Makes sense. But is anyone holding a disproportionately large chunk of the shares, could that pose a risk?
Yeah, so Gus Kepler, the CEO, he's the largest individual shareholder for just under 17% of the company. Now, that is a significant stake, but it's not alarmingly high in terms of ownership concentration.
All right, so we've gathered a lot of information about black box stocks. Let's try to synthesize it all now with a SWOT analysis.
Okay.
This will help us look at their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and threats.
Great.
Giving us a more holistic perspective.
Yeah.
So what are black box stocks' key strengths?
Well, their proprietary analytics and their AI-powered technology, those are definite standouts.
They are pretty impressive.
Yeah, those tools are really designed to help traders identify market trends and spot those potential trading opportunities.
And what about that social media component? Their community of traders.
Wow.
That seems pretty unique.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. It sets them apart from a lot of other platforms out there. That kind of collaborative learning environment is really valuable.
For sure.
And another strength is their educational resources. They've got, live and recorded courses, which are really helpful, especially for newer traders.
For those just starting out.
Yeah.
I could see how that would be a big draw.
Yeah. And we can't forget about their cost-effective subscription model.
Right.
It makes the platform accessible to a much wider audience than some of those really pricey brokers and platforms.
Definitely.
And then, of course, you have the experience and the commitment of their management team.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, they've got a solid track record in the financial technology industry.
Yeah.
Which lends a lot of credibility to the company.
Yeah, those are some real strengths.
Yeah.
But let's be real. No company is perfect.
Yeah.
What are some of their weaknesses? Where do they fall short?
Honestly, the biggest concerns are their declining revenue and their inconsistent earnings.
Those are big ones.
Yeah, and that definitely raises some questions about their financial stability and their ability to be profitable in the long run.
And the NASDAQ non-compliance issues we mentioned earlier, those are still lingering too.
Yeah, and that's something that could erode investor confidence.
Yeah.
Another potential weakness is their limited analyst coverage,
Okay.
which might make it harder for them to attract broader attention in the market.
So they've got some work to do. But let's switch gears now. Where are the opportunities for black box stocks to capitalize on growth? What could really propel them forward?
Well, the online trading platform market is expected to grow significantly over the next few years.
You talked about that. That's 7.3%.
Yeah, and that presents a huge opportunity for black box stocks to expand their user base and really gain some market share.
Yeah, just riding the wave of that growing market could be a key strategy for them.
Right, and they could also explore expanding into new geographic markets, targeting new trader demographics, or even developing new products and services to enhance their platform, really make it stand out.
I see.
And strategic partnerships or acquisitions, those could also be avenues for growth. Give them access to new technologies, new markets.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there are also threats to consider. What are the factors that could really hinder black box stocks' progress?
Well, competition is fierce in the online trading industry. You've got those established players with vast resources and brand recognition. Black box stocks really needs to find ways to differentiate themselves.
And stand out.
Yeah, stand out in a crowded field. It's a constant battle.
Yeah, for sure.
And regulatory scrutiny is always something to consider.
Yeah.
The online trading industry is facing increased scrutiny these days, and that could lead to new rules and regulations that could impact their operations and their profitability.
They have to navigate that regulatory landscape.
Absolutely. And then there's always the potential impact of an economic downturn or increased market volatility. Those are external factors that can really influence investor sentiment and trading activity, which can affect their revenue and user growth.
That's complex.
It is. Black box stocks has a compelling story.
It does.
But there are definitely some challenges there.
Yeah, we've uncovered a lot. When we come back, we'll try to put it all together and give you our final assessment of black box stocks. Is it a hidden gem?
Or fool's gold.
Okay, so we've spent this deep dive really getting to know black box stocks, haven't we?
We have. Their business model, management, the financials, even their SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
It's been quite a journey. So what's the verdict? Is black box stocks a hidden gem or a risky gamble?
I think what's so interesting about black box stocks is that it really is a bit of a paradox. They have innovative technology, a strong community, and a really passionate management team.
They do.
And they're operating in a market, that's rapidly growing with this unique value proposition. But
There's always a but, isn't there?
there are some very real financial challenges, the regulatory hurdles and, of course, the intense competition in the market. And I think, honestly, that declining revenue, that inconsistent earnings, those are some red flags that we just can't ignore. Black box stocks is a speculative investment, plain and simple. Anyone who's considering it really needs to weigh those potential rewards against the risks.
It's definitely not a stock for someone who is risk averse.
Exactly. And this is exactly why I think these deep dives are so valuable. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're just giving you the information you need to make an informed decision for yourself.
So do your own research. Make sure you understand the company's complexities and then decide if black box stocks aligns with your investment goals.
Right. And keep in mind, the market is always in flux. It's dynamic. And companies like black box stocks are a perfect example of that. There's always something new to learn, something new to discover.
It's a constant journey.
Yeah.
Well, we hope this deep dive into black box stocks has been helpful for you.
We hope it's empowered you to make those smart investment decisions.
If you're interested in learning more about other companies or maybe some specific market trends you've been thinking about, let us know in the comments. We're always looking for interesting companies to analyze.
We are. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming deep dives. We're always exploring the stories behind these fascinating companies every week.
Trying to give you the insights you need to navigate this wild world of investing.
And don't forget, the information we've discussed today is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Before you make any investment decisions, talk to a qualified financial advisor.
Until next time, happy investing, everyone.